All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of Patreon. This is Pastor Dowell. Hey, I need y'all kind of spread the word around. We're trying to recover from Passover. You know, we had a few weeks before Passover, and now we are in the recovery phase after Passover, at which we had a funeral to perform and a wedding to perform. And your letters of support, your mail is coming in. And plus, by the time you get this video, a few days later, I'm going to be in South Carolina, help framing up and building a home on another one of our communities in South Carolina. And so it's going to take me a couple of weeks before I'm able to get to the mail. And because I read every letter and stuff, and I just don't want you to think that I'm not interested in your letters and stuff, because that could be nothing further from the truth. Also, I want to make this video about something I want you to consider, okay? I got to where I'm at today as far as thinking about this concept of community because I read about it in the book of Acts. Somewhere along about somewhere along about 1993. 1993, I was reading the book of Acts, and I was very interested in how the apostles understood the way that Christ was communicating with them. And what I did was, as I began to search and research, I came across a few people in my life that was able to help answer some of the questions. And then we built Straightway. All right. During that time, I started thinking. I said, okay, think about this for a second. Suppose you get anywhere between 10 and 50 acres of land. All right, listen to me. From that point on in life, you've already made a choice and decision. Now, there's more choices and decisions to go forward from that. Let me give you an example. In the world, if you go out and live with the world, or live in the houses that they built for you, the communities that they have developed for you, you don't know truly who those people are. Wouldn't it be a whole lot nicer, a whole lot more kinder, however, listen to this, if you could be the one to determine who the people in your community is going to be? And that's the reason why the world have all this visceral against Israelite communities. Because, you see, you get to actually live with people, work with people, and you get to create an environment, one of the last bastions of ethics and morality in this world today. You actually get to create who your neighbor is. You can really truly test yourself to see if you can really truly, look at this, love your neighbor. Now, I'm going to be the first to tell you that you're going to need a leadership structure. You're going to need a structure in the community before it's going to work, because if you don't have that, if you don't have strong leaders that's going to support and defend this Constitution, this Bible right here, the Holy Bible, all right, you're going to have problems. You're going to have big-time problems because one of the things that America has taught people in this country, and it's hard to get it out of them because it's ingrained, is you see, this book teaches us that our people went off because every man wanted to do that which was right in their own eyes. And there's no level of accountability. You know, you really truly need to realize that you have the Gentile way, the Goyim way, ingrained into your mindset. And it's like taking a crowbar and trying to pry open a box at times that's got 20 penny nails in it. It's a lot to change that mindset in order to be able to function in a community that you develop. For instance, I'll give you a particular rundown. My wife and I were from Tennessee. All right, let's start here. We go down the road. We have some people from Puerto Rico. Down the road from there, we have a sister from Indiana. We have another one from Georgia. We have another one from New York. a brother from Alabama, a brother from Michigan, a sister from Japan, another brother from Tennessee, my mother and father from Tennessee, a brother from Florida. We have another family from Florida, one from Michigan, Michigan, two from Minnesota, and one actually native here in the actual county we live. One there. You beginning to see this picture right here? In other words, a family or a real true Israelite community is not going to be built by your immediate family, nor is it going to be built by people who you think really truly loves Yah in this way, because you're never really truly going to know. None of us are, because iron sharpeneth iron. None of us are never going to really truly know what's really in us until we start rubbing, as the old proverbial saying go, elbows with each other. Period, point blank. That's just the way it is. And again, straightway, we say 18 years. Well, we started this thing 20-something years ago. We just actually got boots on the ground 18 years ago. We are one of the few remaining successful, matter of fact, as I know, we're the only Israelite community in the United States of America that is actually functioning, living, and viable. Pastor Fox and them, they have a community out there. I don't know all the details of the community right now because I haven't been there. And we haven't discussed it and talked about it much lately. But it's not easy getting people on one accord and one mind. But the ideal of this video is you can either make the choice and decision to live out there in that world and not knowing if your neighbor is a child molester, a pedophile, an adulterer, a whoremonger, or who knows what in the world it could be. I'm telling you, you just don't know what they are, because people smile today and you truly don't know them. And you know, the scriptures teaches us we need to know them that labor among us. But when you do things the way that we're trying to teach you to do it, first of all, the biggest thing is it's a big inconvenience to the flesh, because if you are lazy, you ain't going to be a benefit to this community. You're not going to make it work. Because another thing that happens often on communities is that people, they'll get here and after a few years, they'll start getting comfortable and they'll become lazy. Because you have to have strong leadership, because you're going to have to stay on people in order to get the mission done. It takes a while. And I don't mind telling you, it took us every bit of about maybe 12, 14 years before we was actually able to get a streamline going in this ministry. And even at that, there's challenges every single year. I think the one thing we all have in common is that truly in our heart, we love the Most High. Don't get me wrong. I would love more than anything than for my natural family to be able to comprehend and understand what I know. But if you could get 2-3 families on one accord, you can accomplish more with that little group than you can with a whole bunch of people who have aspirations of community glory. And that's just the truth. The problem is that today we're having places that are being prepared, but we don't have people prepared for the places. And people are just not willing to make the sacrifice in order to gain. I'll give you an example. When we started, my family and I, we had some of the most, what you would consider to be the most deplorable conditions in modern day society. It wasn't too much rough on me at all, because, you know, I was a soldier. It wasn't too rough on my family because we were together. That made it a whole lot more easier. As a leader, I started out by giving all the people the best of what we had, only to be met later on by unthankfulness, ungratefulness, and unholy people, which are no longer with us. In other words, there's no amount of money, there's no amount of time, energy, or effort that you can give a selfish person and they will be satisfied. It just won't happen. I've learned a lot about humanity over the years. And the one thing about this particular life, which I see, the reason why the Father wants us to live like this, is that if you want to be sharpened, and if you want to really truly be prepared for the kingdom, live next to or live with fellow Israelites. And you're really truly going to get sharp. And I promise you that. It also lets me know how straight and how narrow the way is in going in and entering into the kingdom. Believe me, I'm under no illusion whatsoever at all that we've got it all right. But one thing I do know is that we've got it. And we are striving for righteousness. And if you see anybody else out there in this whole entire world is doing it better than us as a community and have the peace and the unity that we have, please let me know. Well over half the people that actually live on Straightway are people who actually lived in the world at one time. They provided for themselves. They took care of themselves. Many of them had college degrees. Many of them played a lot of sports in college and at the collegiate level. We've got a few veterans in here from the Army and the Marines. We got people who own businesses. Overall, we really truly, after the world sort, we have a pretty intelligent community, and people who, like myself, if we didn't at one time know how to use my hands to build, we were willing to learn. And so as a result, the Most High Yah, which you hear me preach on over and over again about talents, I've increased the talents that the Most High has given to me. Anytime that I had something laid in my hands or laid in my lap, I didn't make any excuses. I didn't bellyache. I got out there and got it done. You got a lot of people out there, especially pastors, that say that they are pastors, yet they won't lead the flock. They will not lead by example. And you can forget about most people. They just talk. I know when people are just talking and they ain't got no ambitions or dreams. You know why? Because the footprint, the footstep, the fruits of their lifestyle and ways, it betrays them. It really truly lets us know what's in their heart, what they're planning on trying to accomplish, and what they're going to do. So people just don't deceive me. They don't get past me. Just because I don't say anything does not mean I clearly don't see what's going on. And that's where a lot of people make the mistake. But the ideal of this is to be able to live in common unity around people who fear Yah, have the same ethics, moral, and values, and you can live a quiet and peaceable life. After all, isn't that what the Apostle Paul said that should be our prayer? Hope I gave you something to chew on for the rest of this weekend. Consider what I say. Most High give you understanding. Shalom, shalom.